Richland Hills is a perfect place for residents and businesses to call home. This year we talk a lot about who Richland Hills was and where we want to be. We analyzed our strengths and our weaknesses, discussed how to capitalize on opportunities and mitigate threats. There were similar themes that always came up out of these conversations. We value connection, and we want to preserve the neighborly small town feel that comes with living here. We want to protect the natural beauty of our community and support quality neighborhoods. We always want to be looking forward, focused on progress and excellence in all we do. As mayor, my focus has always been safe, quality of life neighborhoods sustained by the commitment to quality economic development, and good government is the way and the means for that. And the leadership of this city is also the priority that I have, is having the leaders in all the departments, starting with the city manager, and they're the ones that ensure a committed staff that serves our citizens every day. I'm proud to say Richland Hills is headed in the right direction with a very bright future ahead. Tonight you will hear more about strategic priorities and important initiatives planned for this year. But first, let me take a look at the current state of our great city. Richland Hills has seen considerable growth in all property and sales taxes revenue over the past decade, bolstered by increasing property values and a rising commercial tax base. Revenue has grown by 54% since 2014. I got a long history here. Property tax revenue increased by $1.98 million. That time frame totaling $4.28 million of fiscal year for fiscal year 2023. We have seen even more growth in our sales tax revenue, with a $6.18 million increase since 2014. And fiscal year 2023 sales tax revenue totaled $10.3 million, making it the largest revenue source for the city. 53% total sales tax collections come from the wholesale trade industry, with 55% of those collections coming from the city's top 10 companies. Richland Hills welcomed 101 new businesses in 2023. This is double the number of new businesses that moved to Richland Hills last year, indicating that companies are attracted to our location and the industrial-friendly properties. As you can see, Richland Hills is a very strong financial position today. Our financial strength has allowed the city to dedicate additional resources to improving services and delivery and expanding opportunities to the community. Now, I will highlight some of the city's significant achievements from the past year. The city secretary's office, Lindsay over there, was awarded the Municipal Clerk's Office Achievement of Excellence Award for 2023. I believe that's the first time that's ever been accomplished by our city. The city maintained a AA bond rating from Moody's and Standard & Poor's. The city received the 2023 Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting and Distinguished Budget. The city charter was successfully updated in May 2023, and voters recently approved the local option election allowing packaged liquor stores to operate in Richland Hills. The fire department's new ambulance was placed in service. The city conducted a functional emergency operations center exercise for all senior staff to ensure readiness for disaster responses. The department offered its 6th Citizens Fire Academy with 13 graduates this year. Our library. The library partnered with Animal Services to help train and prepare dogs for adoption. The department created the Trail Tale Storybook Walk Along the hike and bike trail. Library staff implemented mobile printing so customers can print documents remotely and pick up from the library at their convenience. The library received a donation of a garden vertical indoor hydroponic growing system, allowing the department to grow fresh herbs and vegetables to share with the community. In Parks and Recreation, the link operated at 86% cost recovery, largely due to the success of the facility's child care programs and increase in private rentals. The link hosted its first regional sports event in February 2023. A&S Gymnastics hosted the 2023 Miss Texas Invitational Meet with more than 200 athletes representing 5 states and 2 foreign countries. The event brought in over $2,500 for the weekend and saw nearly 40 hotel rooms booked in the city for the last 2 nights. The department hired its first park technician. The position is focused on performing routine and preventative maintenances at city facilities, parks, and public spaces. The police department. The police department implemented a traffic unit in May 2023. Overall, traffic collisions reduced by 3% from September 2022 to September 2023. Traffic stops, which correlated to the reduction in crime and collisions, increased by 87% in the same reporting period. The Criminal Investigation Unit has increased solvability of Part 1 crimes by 3% and increased the number of cases filed with the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office by 97%. In addition, $36,684 in stolen property has been recovered and returned to victims. The department also completed a full renovation of the interior of the Animal Services Center. The final phase of the capital improvement plan began last month and will with drainage and parking lot improvements. In Public Works, Performance Services, Inc. installed approximately 3,100 residential and commercial electronic water meters. Public Works continued its focus on training and professional development, with staff receiving 8 new additional TCEQ licenses. Maintenance crew leaders Justin Meany and Kelly Morris were promoted to superintendents, providing oversight of water, wastewater, drainage, and street operations. The Public Works Department implemented a street improvement program. Staff repaired 834 potholes in fiscal year 2022 to 2023, compared to 58 the last fiscal year. That's just a part of what we did last year or this year. I could go on and about the wonderful things happening in Richland Hills, but I got to give the podium to GW. I'm going to turn it over to my fellow council members, and they'll talk more about the projects and initiatives you will see in the next year. I invite Mayor Pro Tem G.W. Estep to the podium to discuss the city's policies and priorities.
I think you have a question, Mayor, right there.
Do I got a question? No? Do I? No? I got a question here. Okay, invite Mayor Pro Tem.
There you go.
Okay. Who was the first mayor of Richland Hills? Not that you can remember, but the actual first mayor of Richland Hills.
Anyone? Ooh, already a hard one out of the gate.
Uh-huh. No hands? Who was the first mayor of Richland Hills? Okay, any cheaters over here?
Maybe the backup question. Let's see, do we have a backup question?
I'm going to assume it was a Mr. A.F. Grassy.
What was the last name?
Grassy. Gracy. So that was in the 1950. Okay, we're going to have to study next time. Okay, GW, let's move on here.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. Tonight, I'm going to be, hold on a second. I already messed this.
Hold on, presentation.
Right. I'm going to be talking about policy goals and priorities for our city. So while they're getting that presentation set up, a little bit about myself. I was elected to the council in 2021. My wife and I moved here in 2019, lived in the Fort Worth area, Aledo, Fort Worth, South Fort Worth, for 35 years now. So very familiar with Fort Worth. Have a business right across 121. It's not in Richland Hills, but it's really close. And drove through Richland Hills my whole career over there, and never thought for a second to come move into this city. And until my wife and I got married, and our kids grew up, moved out of the house, and said, "Oh, we want to live closer to town." So that's what we did. And so, man, we love this city. Really happy to be here. Love our neighbors, and you're going to see some of the things from our survey that'll reflect the same things I'm saying. You guys ready over there? Awesome. Good deal. Okay. The City of Richland Hills launched its first citizen survey earlier this year. The online survey measured local issues such as quality of life, development, growth, development and growth services provided by the city, and future priorities by asking residents 2 questions. Prioritize the city services and benefits that they care most about, and rate current services and benefits provided by the city. So our company On Point Insights conducted the citizen survey back in January through February 20th, and a total of 410 surveys were completed. The results of the survey were presented to the City Council on March 13th of this year. I'm going to review a few key highlights from the survey this evening. A full copy of the report and presentation is available on our city's website under the Residents-Citizen Survey link. So one of the things that we heard a lot is the citizens love the accessibility location of this city. I can tell you that's why my wife and I love this city. We are close to everything, and we don't have to get on a highway to go anywhere. They like that the city is safe and secure and generally peaceful, and they appreciate the small town feel. When asked on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would they be to refer Richland Hills to friends or family as a good place to live, survey respondents indicated likely, with 63% answering 7 out of 10 or higher. When asked about the direction of the city, 64% of the survey respondents said that the city is headed in the right direction. 75% stated that the city has stayed the same or improved over the last 3 years. So the following, let's see. Yeah, the following are the top 5 city departments that citizens interacted with the most over the past 6 months, along with the service ratings they received. So the police department was rated very good or good, 87%. Animal services was rated 75%, very good or good. The link was rated good or very good at 81%. Code compliance was good or very good at 32%. And utility billing was good or very good, 78%. You can see all the charts here and the ratings for each department. Again, all of this information, this whole presentation is available on the website if you guys want to look at that after this meeting. So survey respondents were asked to prioritize several topics in order of importance. The following were highly prioritized and identified as areas where citizens felt the city should devote increased attention. Maintain improved streets, curbs, and sidewalks. Maintain improved city infrastructure, including water, wastewater, and storm drainage. Ensure infrastructure can support growth. Attract new restaurant businesses. Ensure public streets and roads can support growth. Upgrade the current drainage infrastructure. And pedestrian safety, including trails, sidewalks, and crosswalks. The citizen survey was an incredibly valuable tool to help the city council and staff understand the needs and priorities of our residents. We will continue to use these results often as we evaluate future projects, build the annual budget, and refine the city's comprehensive plan. With the citizen survey results in hand, the City Council developed the first strategic plan for Richland Hills this year. During the process, the Council and executive staff created a vision, mission, core values, and strategic goals and objectives for the city. This is the new city's strategic map. It represents the policy framework that will guide future decision-making and funding priorities. City leadership identified 6 focus areas for the city: quality workforce, economic development, service excellence, community engagement, public safety, and facilities and infrastructure. Under each focus area, strategic objectives were developed to clearly outline what the city wants to achieve. These objectives are: attract and retain a high-quality workforce, advance economic development, deliver efficient city services, enhance community engagement, support safety services, and accelerate infrastructure investment. You will see these themes referenced throughout this presentation and moving forward as the city makes policy and funding decisions. Now for my question. What year was the city of Richland Hills incorporated? 1950. All right.
Hey, goodie bag.
Goodie bag.
And I think since the first question was a bust, maybe we can ask one more so the mayor can give away a goodie bag also.
All right.
You have a question?
Would you like- Oh, you've got one then.
So am I to take that to her, or is she coming?
I think the gentleman in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question I have is.
Gotcha. All right.
What was the name of the last occupant of the building that the link now sits on? If everyone remembers, there was a gas station there on Baker Boulevard. I'll take either the name of the gas station or the name of the last occupant that was there. was, the last occupant for the building was the Richland Hills Historical Society headquarters and museum.
John
Before
Skeet.
that, it was vacant for a very long time, and it was a Sinclair gas station. So we got a winner?
I think it was John Skier.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now, you gonna invite him? So now I'd like to invite Councilman Roland Govius up to the podium to provide an overview of the projects and initiatives you will see in 2024.
Good evening. Thanks for coming. My name is Roland Govius, and I'll go over the fiscal year 2024 overview. You see the adopted tax rate for fiscal 2024 was 0.522689, with a maintenance and operation rate of 0.36 and an interest and sinking rate of 0.16. There was a 1.6% decrease over the 2023 tax rate. Our tax has been decreasing since 2024, our tax rate. We are now currently, it's decreased by 6.4%. So the next chart in blue is the maintenance and operations with general fund tax rate, and the orange is the interest and sinking debt service tax rate. This year, the city lowered the maintenance and operation tax rate and increased the interest and sinking tax rate to support issuance of certificates of obligations for the street reconstruction projects. Next slide. The fiscal year 2024 budget projects revenue of $25.6 million and expenses of $29.47 million, which includes the transfers. These dollars provide for funding of a number of projects and initiatives to meet residents and council priorities identified in the citizen survey and strategic plan. I will provide a brief overview of the major projects and initiatives included in the fiscal year 2024 budget. My fellow council members will go over more details of many of these projects later this evening. The total revenues here, if you see, the sales tax leads by 38%, charges for services at 26%, and property taxes at 19%. If you see grants at 6%, we encourage our staff to apply for grants whenever able. The expenditures, public safety leads by 33%, public works 20%, and utilities at 18%. So we strive to obtain a quality workforce for our citizens, and this budget addresses that. This budget addresses several initiatives related to attracting and retaining a quality workforce, including funding to maintain competitive salaries and employee benefits, provide professional development opportunities, develop succession plans, and enhance services to the community. To enhance safety and security, the city included funding for a traffic officer position and 2 school resource officer positions for the fiscal year 2024 budget. Now for the infrastructure improvements. The infrastructure improvements was a top priority identified by our residents in the citizen survey. The fiscal year 2024 budget includes funding to complete design and construction of Magnolia Park and to begin design on the 6 street reconstruction projects that were included in the recent sale of certificates of obligation. The city will also be completing water system improvements at each of the city's well sites. wastewater system improvements along Elm Park Drive, drainage improvements along the Latham Channel, and installing illuminated street signs at the intersections of Baker Boulevard. Okay, so next one is the development projects and initiatives. Supporting quality development is a major objective for the city. Good development not only enhances the appearance of the community, but it's a significant contributor to the community's overall financial health and stability. This new year, the city will complete the Glenview Corridor Master Plan and start development on a new comprehensive development plan. The city continues to offer building improvement grants to our businesses to maintain and enhance their properties. There are several private development projects underway, Baker Landing and Richmond Crossing Town Hall development, with several others in the early planning stages. The city on the capital investments side, the city continues to focus on improving public facilities and parks. In fiscal year 2024, we will wrap up exterior improvements at the Animal Shelter Services Center, add restrooms and pavilions, and additional parking at both Kate Baker and Rosebud Parks, and complete enhancements to City Hall and City Complex. In addition, we'll be replacing fences at the Public Works facility and city parks and adding broadband infrastructure and security cameras to our park system. On the community engagement side, cities who have engaged citizens are stronger, more collaborative, and have a better understanding of the overall needs and priorities of the community. The city offers several ways for citizens to get involved and share their thoughts and ideas through surveys, public meetings, and social media. In addition, the city uses several different notification tools to share important news and information. For those who really want to get involved, the city offers different volunteer opportunities, including the chance for all Richland Hills residents to be a part of the city's 75th anniversary in September 2025. So this was a brief overview of our 2024 priorities. I will now have to turn it to Councilmember Doug Knowlton, but before that I have a question. And the question is, what church was the first to hold services for Richland Hills residents?
Oh, there's a hand.
Oh. What?
She said Calvary Lutheran.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Richland Hills Baptist Church? Yep. Ding, ding, ding.
Yep, correct.
It was Reverend Tom Lawyer held the first service on July 13, 1952. Lawler.
Great job.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's a pleasure serving you as a councilman. And my part is the part that I love the most, and that's our infrastructure of this city. I've been adamant about this from day one, and still just as adamant about it today.
That's so everybody on Facebook Live can hear us.
Okay. Our infrastructure part is the improvement in the fiscal year of 2024. The city will be working on several projects. As you can see, we've already started working on many projects out there right now. we're gonna be working on our streets, our water, wastewater, drainage, and our signage out there.
On the signs, is that gonna include the street signs?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we'll get to that. First of all, the next street reconstruction project will be Magnolia Park Drive from Rosebud Lane to, Mimosa Park. These names in my tongue don't work too good, so. Work includes paving, drainage, water, and sewer system improvement. The project is currently in the design phase and will be ready for a bid in early 2024. And I got to say something off the record about that is we as a council decided early on that it was best to work everything when we do these streets. That people's wondering why it's taking so long to work these projects, is we've decided that it's best to do everything over and under the streets, so that we don't have to tear up that new street in a year to fix something under it. So we're doing that, and that is one of the greatest things I can hand this off to this council for coming up with. Norton Drive is going to be another one of the projects for next year. Is the city will also partner with Tarrant County to complete paving improvements on Norton Drive from Glenview to Evergreen Road. The project is planned for early 2024 before the new school year begins. The 6 streets that we are going to be coming up with this year, designing, is from the next 6 streets are included in the Series 2023 Certificate of Obligations bonds that was mentioned earlier. These streets will be designed in the 2024 construction in 2025. Jameson Street from Granada Street to Fay Drive, including paving, water, and sewer improvements. Mary Boaz Drive from LeBon Drive to Marcel's Court, including paving, water, and sewer. Then we're going to go Mary Boaz Drive from Marcel's Court to Jameson Street, including paving, water, and sewer. Then we're going to move over across the 10 there to Brooks Avenue, from Brooks Avenue from Ruth Snow to Holder Street, including paving, water, and sewer. And these, I might add on to this, is these sewer projects take a little longer than what just water and paving does. So the next project is our Oxley Drive from Evergreen Road to Booth Callaway Road, including paving, water, and sewer. I can hear.
Is that includes drainage? No. No.
Just on-street drainage.
Yes. All right, let's move on to the water wastewater improvements. Utilizing funds received from the American Rescue Plan Act, the city will be installing generators so we don't ever have that multi-freeze again problem, along with the required electrical and structural components at all well sites pump stations. The project also includes the ability to provide power to the SCADA equipment associated with the city's elevated storage tanks. Oops, sorry. I'll get this over in front of me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, move it, if you're gonna look that way,
Yeah,
put the mic
move
on
it,
that
move
side.
the mic to that side.
Yeah, just drop
I'll
right-
move it over
right
this
there.
side. Okay, the improvements will also bring the city of Richland Hills into compliance with the requirement of the state of Senate Bill number 3 requiring infrastructure preparedness.
All right, the CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant. Every 2 years, the City of Richland Hills participates in the Tarrant County Community Development Block Grant Program. The city uses this CDBG funds to help replace water and wastewater mains. The current project, including replacement of 1,400 square feet of sewer main on Elm Park Drive between Pine Park and Oak Park. The next round of application is due in 2024, and the city plans to submit a proposal to replace the water main on Mimosa Park Drive from Magnolia to Park Drive to Airport Freeway Access Road. Okay, let's talk about the Latham Latham Channel improvement. I guess if you've driven down Highway 10, you've noticed a lot of construction right in there. The creek was collapsing, and so they went in. The city has come in and we're reinforcing it. The Latham Channel improvement are underway with a anticipated completion in January of 2024. These improvements will also stabilize the channel where it collapsed adjacent to the Ark Faith Church. Let's go into the signage. You asked that question right there. The City of Richland Hills is working with TxDOT to install illuminated street sign at each of the intersections along Baker Boulevard. As you notice, if you've driven down that street, you can't read the street signs anymore. The city recently adopted state regulations on the maintenance of LED street signs and will soon begin the design process. In addition, the city staff will start transitioning old street signs, like you asked, blazed bearing the city's new brand. This will be a gradual process over the next several years. Baker Boulevard intersection. If you turn left off of Baker Boulevard, off of Real Snow onto Baker Boulevard, you know that it's a hassle there. Well, the TxDOT has approved the city's request to create a dedicated left turn lane and a through lane, left turn lane at the intersection of Baker Boulevard, Real Snow. Once complete, the motors traveling south on Real Snow will be able to turn left from both lanes. So everybody needs to kind of orient themselves with this, because this is going to be a big change, because everybody's used to Real Snow going straight off of that middle lane, and it's not. They can now turn. All right. That pretty well concludes my part of the infrastructure part of it. I have got a question before I turn this over to Mr. Malone. And here's a good question. Linda, you can't answer it. Who was the famous Hollywood couple that visited their friends in Richland Hills in 1950s? Yes. Yes.
Albie.
He got it.
Okay.
So now I'd like to introduce Mr. Travis Malone.
And I just want to say, I know people may have some questions because of our limited mics. If we can hold them till the end, we can make sure we can get a mic to the audience and then a mic to staff and our council members as well. If you don't want to forget your question and you're afraid you might, go ahead, raise your hand. I'm writing them down so that we can come back and answer them later.
All right, you ready? Well, I appreciate all of your coming tonight. there's been a lot of information given already, so I really appreciate everybody being here, and I can already tell there's some good technical questions coming. Again, my name is Travis Malone. I was elected to the City Council in 2022, and before I start, since we're still transitioning, I did tease the staff and said I was going to sing my presentation. I'm not actually going to torture you fine folks and do that. So, but we're here to talk about development. It was mentioned briefly earlier. It was an issue that came up really high in the citizen surveys and strategic plan. And staff has been working on plans and sites. We've partnered with private corporations to not just develop lots, but look into planning on redeveloping areas and lots. So the first thing we're going to mention is that Glenview Master Plan. As I'm sure most of y'all know, Tarrant County is going to work with the cities where Glenview is, Richland Hills, North Richland Hills, moving on down to the other cities. But they are going to redo that street. So the city decided to take that opportunity and look at doing a master plan. We've partnered with a company called Catalyst Commercial to discuss, look at safety, pedestrian safety especially, and really try to work on some goals and things to make that an economic powerhouse for our city. There's a lot of potential for commercial there, and that plan process kicked off in this summer. There's been a lot of conversations going on with business owners along the corridor, and it should be adopted hopefully by January, sometime in January. So all that information will be out on the website and everything, so I'm really excited about that. The plan I'm actually even more excited about is our comprehensive plan. Again, that was kind of mentioned earlier. A comprehensive plan is really something where the city has a main document to guide all future development. A city should update those every 10 years. Our last time we updated it was May of 2014, so we are due for that. And the reason why cities go and update that is because obviously, as y'all know, market conditions change, populations change, there's just environmental trends change. There's always things changing, so you come up with a comprehensive plan to guide your future goals for development. In October this year, October 23rd, the council approved a professional service agreement, I know it sounds fancy, with Halfin Associates to help us come up with that plan. The process should take about 14 months. It's a long process, but it's an important process. And during that process, there should be a lot of opportunities for citizens to give their thoughts, their feedback on what kind of things they want in development in the future. The next thing, again, this was kind of mentioned earlier, was the building improvement grants. The city wants to help our businesses. Economic development is something very important to all of us, attracting businesses. What people don't often talk about when they talk about economic development is keeping the businesses you have. That's very important. So we have a building improvement grant where we can offer to businesses where it is up to 50%, it's up to actually 5,000 or 50% of their project. So for example, if their project is $6,000, well, the city would throw in 3,000 of that, and that would go up to 5,000. The slide has some of the things that are used for that grant, things like facade, parking, lighting. I know I'm jumping around, but my favorite one is something we don't have much in our city is public art. So if a business is looking to improve their property by adding some public art, I really would love them to apply for this grant. So we talked about some planning, we talked about the building improvement grants. Now we're going to talk about some of the things happening in our city development-wise and in the future. Y'all have seen this driving down Baker. We have Baker Landings. That is a townhome community building at the intersection of Ash Park and Baker. There's been a lot of already completed residents there, people moving in, but that is still going to be worked on. You have also probably seen at the intersection of Popplewell and Baker, there's going to be a townhome community there called Richland Crossings, and they're in the process of doing some land improvement to that property right now before they start building any properties. Together, just those two properties, it's going to be 121 homes. A little bit further down Baker, at the intersection of Kreitz and Baker, there's going to be 4 residential spots, residential houses on Kreitz, and where the Baker part of it is they're planning to just put a commercial building there. So I'm really excited about that. Some good development. Now with the commercial development, we talked about this last year, but City Marketplace and Cafe, that's going strong. Their owner, Dan Boykin, I know he's talked to a lot of the council and staff. He's continuing to work on ideas, things to get people there. I know they recently had a movie night. They've had a Halloween gathering there. They're continuing to make that a big draw for our area and getting vendors there. I bought in some really good food there. If y'all haven't gone, go. But yeah, definitely go. We also got coming a Q car wash that's going to be just adjacent to the Rice House Cafe, Rice House Express. And if y'all haven't been to the Rice House Express, I highly recommend that place as well. Of course, we have plans for future commercial development along Baker, Boulevard 26, 121. Some of those are some lands at Wesley and Baker. There's also something that could be coming into the 2600 block of Hanley Ederville. Those plans are in the early stages right now. So once everything gets finalized, more information will be put out about those things. So stay tuned. The best way to do that is website, and I know later on we'll get more detail about city engagement, how you can follow the city. And finally, we talked about future commercial lots. We have actually 20 infill lots throughout the city that could be developed as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for good development or redevelopment in this city. One thing, I saw this on Facebook earlier, so this wasn't initially part of my presentation, but with the Glenview Master Plan, we had some ideas and things to put in with Creek Trail Park, but since we started doing that Glenview Master Plan, we decided to put that stuff on hold. So if anybody is going, well, where'd that stuff go? Y'all talked about it last year. That's one reason why. And there'll be more detail about that coming as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Javier Alvarez, who's going to talk more about capital investments. But first, my question. It gave me an easy question. And I don't know if Candace really wants to point out somebody, because I think a lot of hands should be going up. My question is who is the, well, you better get it now. Who is the viral internet superstar who lives in Richland Hills?
Yes, sir.
Steve Austin.
What
You
does
got
he
it.
go by?
Old man Steve.
You got it, sir. You got it. Thank you so much, y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming.
Can we ask it at the end, or can I write it down so we can ask it, answer it at the end?
Good evening. My name's Javier Alvarez. I've been here in the city I've lived here for about 11 years. I'm on my second term as city councilman. I'll be speaking tonight on capital investments. Some of the areas I'm going to be speaking on is animal services, park development, city complex, public works and fence, park fence, broadband, and security cameras. That's the area I'm going to be speaking about. You know, the city continues to focus on improving our public facility, parks, and infrastructure. A vibrant park system enhances quality of life, ensures the health of families and youth, and contributes to the economic and environmental well-being of a community. Animal services. This year, the city completed a full interior update at the Animal Service Center. The city is currently working on exterior updates, including grading and drainage improvements, expanded parking, creating a dumpster enclosure, installing synthetic turf and shade screens for the outdoor dog runs, and enhancing the landscape and perimeter fence. In Kate Baker Park, the city will be completing 2 park improvement projects this year. The first project includes installation of a restroom pavilion and expanded parking at Kate Baker Park. The improvement will create an additional 17 parking spots and provide a restroom pavilion facility to enhance enjoyment in the park. The second park project includes it will happen in Rosebud Park. The second project includes installation of a restroom pavilion and expanded parking at Rosebud Park. The improvement will create up to 20 additional parking spots along Rosebud Drive and provide a restroom pavilion facilities to support programs and events hosted at the park. Hike and bike trailhead. In addition, the city will be constructing a trailhead and parking lot off of Latham Drive to provide easy access to the hike and bike trail and Liberty Trail Story Walk. During the 2024, the city has plans to enhance the city's complex, council chambers, and City Hall conference rooms. Staff will be working with RBGA, the architect firm that designed the fire station, to develop construction documents for a complete renovation of the old Tarrant County College, fire administration, and public workspaces. The 2024 budget also includes funding to replace the Link gym floor and provide ongoing facilities and equipment enhancements. Okay, now it's time for the question. What was the first established city park? Yes, correct. Yeah, lady right there. I think she said I could have it. Now I'd like to invite Councilwoman Teresa Bledsoe up to the podium to discuss some community engagement initiatives.
I'm Teresa Bledsoe. Thank y'all very much for allowing me to serve you. It's been an absolute honor. And so I had moved to Richland Hills in 2008, and I found my house by coincidence. Somebody told me they were having an estate sale. I was needing a chair, and I bought a house. So, but I just absolutely fell in love with my neighbors, and the location was perfect because my job has me going all over the state of Texas. So that gave me the opportunity to be able to just jump on the highway. So I love this location. I get the opportunity to share with you about the community engagement. That's a really important part for me. One of the things that we get to talk about is the service organization. Community engagement is very important to the city of Richland Hills. The city offers several ways for residents to get involved in civic life and share their thoughts, ideals, and concerns. Be it through public meetings, our social media pages, one-on-one conversations. The city of Richland Hills wants to hear from our residents. Your input helps us better understand the needs of our citizens and the policies in place to support a healthy, vibrant community. Now I'm going to add a piece there. We do emails. Our email addresses are on the on our website. So if you ever have a concern or question or anything, feel free to email one of the city council members or the city staff. We will definitely be willing to answer some of those questions. The citizen survey, I got the opportunity to be able to do that survey, and I was like, I don't understand why they're asking all these questions. But then after they got done, I realized how important it really was. So in January 2023, we completed our first citizen survey. Results from the citizen survey were used to develop the city's strategic plan, identifying priorities during the budget process, and it will be used in the upcoming comprehensive plan update. The next citizen survey will be conducted in 2025. We encourage all residents to participate and let us know how we're doing how we are doing to serve you. Last year, the city launched a new, more user-friendly website, and trust me, it's a whole lot more user than it used to be. This is the best place to find information about the city services, upcoming meetings and events, and important news. Now, if you're not familiar with this is the Everbridge. The city also offers a community notification system, Everbridge. Subscribers will receive emails, text messages, phone calls for local weather, emergency events, and community advisories. If you aren't receiving Everbridge notification, you can sign up on the city's website by clicking the Stay Notified icon. Stay connected. We have all these places that you can go to for our Facebook, Richland Hills, Facebook for the police department, the Richland Hills Fire Department, Public Library, the Animal Shelter, the Link, the City of Richland Hills. Oh, these are I'm so sorry. The little bird is the tweeter. I don't even do that, so I don't even know what that bird is. There's a bird there. There you go. Okay. But, so, there you go. You can see all those things. I know Facebook. I don't know any of these other things. So, the city maintains a strong presence on social media. The latest news and information. To be sure to follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. That's what those little icons are for. There we go. Volunteer opportunities. That's how I got involved. I had a city council member that would spark my interest by asking different questions, what I thought about certain things. And next thing you know, he had me volunteering on a committee. And I got very, very involved with the city. So this is a good way. The city offers several ways for citizens to get involved in city services through volunteer, partnership, opportunities. Several volunteer opportunities are listed here. The city is working to identify additional volunteers' needs and enhance our volunteer program. So please, if you want to see change, get involved. So now we got the 75th anniversary. I'm so excited about that. I can't believe we've been here for 75 years. That's amazing. But the 75th anniversary celebration will be a time for fellowship, food, and fun. City Council appointed a committee made up of 12 residents who, with the assistance of staff, will create a community activity engagement leading up to the grand celebration of Richland Hill's milestone birthday in September of 2025. There will be volunteer opportunities throughout the 2-year planning process and celebration. We want all of our residents to be a part of the fun. And I have a question. When did Richland Elementary School open?
Who said that?
Yes, sir? Close. He was very close. Anybody else?
Another guess?
Y'all are, get a little closer to this way. It's like bingo. There you go. That's it. Bingo. So that's right. That's right. Alrighty. Well, now I would like to invite Mayor Lopez back to the podium for some closing comments.
Mayor, we have 3 more bags to give away. I have a couple of questions.
Okay, we have 3 more bags, and so we're going to get some more questions. About the 75th anniversary, I think we got a little bit of time to beef up on our city trivia, because I think that's going to be a big part of our celebration, is just remembering what's happened here in the last 75 years. So what's our first question? Oh, that's an easy one. Total square miles of Richland Hills. David White should know this. He's probably walked it. Him and Garrett. Is that going to be close enough, or are we?
I think it's probably even close enough.
3.3. Thank you for your answer. Oh, what was the name of the first grocery store? Yes, sir.
Waring.
There you go.
Somebody else? Okay.
Do we have another question? Council got a question for the stump the audience?
Roland had a question.
Oh. No, I got one. I'll talk loud so everybody can hear me. This is an easy one too. All right. Before there was Benyon Elementary, what was the elementary school originally called?
Uh-oh. Down there? Okay, we heard somebody down there. Okay.
So this
One
is
more.
not so much history, but what is the name of the first miniature cow in our city?
Was this a sports trivia question, or?
What was the question?
We have a miniature cow in our city. Not
What is the name of the miniature cow?
What's his name? Bob. No.
Lunch.
Roland, you had one earlier. I forgot what it was.
What's your question, Roland? Because they're going to start asking you questions, so you better give them a good one.
No, but easy ones are. I had some questions, but. Oh, well.
What was the name of the steakhouse in Richland Hill?
Ah, yeah.
Sirloin.
Sirloin.
Okay, you got it.
Toby, thank you for your input.
You would go in there, clean, fresh, and you come out smelling like smoke.
Still smells like smoke.
It still does. Okay, so how we're gonna set up our opportunities for questions?
Questions? Okay, I'm gonna have Jennifer grab a microphone, and if you have a question.
If I don't get a chance to thank everybody for coming, thank you. This has been great. We'll let the questions go on for a while until hopefully we give everybody's answers, and then after the questions, you can ask me for my opinion, and I'll give you that too.
We had a few questions that were asked during the presentation, if we want to start with those. Ms. Helen, you had a question about signage. Did we answer that enough for you, or did you have something more?
You know, that was the question that, it's hard to read the signs if you were trying to get someone directions how to get there with the signs, you know, or the street cross, hardly read them.
Okay.
Those are in the works of being replaced.
There was a question about drainage on Oxley, and I see that gentleman, I think, had to leave. So underground drainage improvements are not planned for Oxley because we don't have that drainage, that full drainage project constructed for that entire area. There's a much more elaborate drainage project that needs to be done in order to take that water underground. What would be included is improvements to the street to enhance the on-street drainage. So that piece would get better. There was a question about, do the generators run on gas? I think that gentleman stepped out also, but yes, they are gas generators that will be at our well sites. And then there was a question for Mr. Schibel about architects and engineers for projects. So yes, all of our city projects and private development projects have architects and engineers involved in them. You can reach out. We can't always connect the resident with the private developers team. We can give you the point of contact we have, and you'd have to work through them. For the architects and engineers that work on behalf of the city, you can contact my office. You can contact the office of our Director of Public Works, and we can get that information to you.
Thank you. I still have a following question for that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're doing a lot of work on the streets, and yet the streets are still flooded. Are they going to add drainage to those streets, and especially to the west of us here? Of course, you still have areas that have been changed, waterways that have been changed, and FEMA is unaware. And I'm asking the question because we have insurance issues that they demand we pay for FEMA when there's no waterways that are running there any longer. So I want to find out if the city is going to upgrade with FEMA to assist us in a new mapping.
So I can tell you that a couple of years ago, FEMA did come out and work with the staff on reevaluating our properties and which ones continued to be in the floodway and which ones could be removed. There were not very many properties that could have been removed from the floodway at that time. For more detailed information about which properties are removed or which ones still remain, I can get that information from our floodplain manager and our city engineer, and so we can provide more detailed information about that. But FEMA has been out within the last several years to evaluate, and many of the properties still remain in the floodway.
You know,
Hold on, Ms. Helen, she's going to bring me
since early 70s. And I've been through 2 or 3 floods and whatnot, and it seems like to me that they'll fix one place, or sorta, but they mess up 2 or 3 more. And I live now out back here behind at the levee. I lived on Airline. We got flooded out. We had just built a new house, and they didn't tell us that they were working on it, so we built a brand new house down there. And then FEMA made us move. and that's where the park is now, and it still floods down there. So, I just feel like that we should all be more aware of what's going on, because you may not think that street over there is gonna affect you, but I promise you, it probably will. And we don't have any gutters, no drainage, no nothing. And I live back, by the levee. And I live in Richland Hills because I love it, and I've had 5 houses here. And I've built them and gone through inspections and codes and all this other kind of stuff, but I think we really need to concentrate on that, because I think that's very important to Richland Hills. Very, and expensive.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And I can tell you that we did provide a presentation to council at the beginning of the year, back in early, I think January or February 2023, and spoke specifically about the drainage projects that have been completed and what future drainage projects were in plans that had been studied, but did not have funding currently. So there was extensive work that was done on the Hardesty Channel and making improvements down into the levee near Rosebud Park and onto Big Fossil Creek. There are still 2 or 3 significant drainage projects that do not have funding, primarily because the amount of money to do that in today's dollars is close to $30 million. We did speak earlier today about grant opportunities, and I can tell you that the Director of Public Works, Kip Dernovich, and I have met with 2 or 3 different consultant firms, and we have told them that grant funding for drainage projects is a priority for this community, and we've asked them to help us find and identify those grant sources so that we can maybe put some more resources towards some of these outstanding drainage improvements.
And a lot of people don't realize that their homeowner's insurance does not cover flood.
Correct.
And just out of curiosity, I called to get an estimate on it, and through FEMA, I think it was like $6,000 a year. One house.
It is pricey. Since you said everything you just said, is Leslie Drive and Airline a priority for the city to get that corrected so the neighbor doesn't constantly have to rebuild her home?
Yes, we're aware of the flooding issues that occur in that area. There is a drainage project that's, planned for that Booth Callaway Glenview intersection. It's a multi-million-dollar project, and the city doesn't have the financial resources to complete it at this time.
When do you think that will happen? What time frame? 1 year, 2 year?
No.
What's the priority level on that?
On acquiring the funds, the priority
Yes,
level
to
is,
get the funds to make that correction.
yeah, I would say not within the next 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, 5 years is a lot, but since you say 5 years, so those neighbors down there at the very end, they flood again and they flood again. Let's say worst scenario. It might not happen for another 5 years, but let's say it does happen in 1 year. Is the city going to go ahead and maybe offer them a grant to fix their house because they can't get flood insurance because they're not in a flood zone?
I'm not sure what you mean by a grant.
Or something. Give the city step in and give them some money or something to help them with that huge expense.
Or pay part of the flood insurance. It's
No.
Like an
Yeah.
incentive, because
Yeah.
you can't do anything to
I
help.
don't know of any mechanism that would allow to subsidize that from the city funds. Is there such a thing from?
Not that I'm
No.
aware
Yeah,
of right now.
I'm not aware. Yeah.
No way to get creative and figure something out for those
I think
poor neighbors?
the last time the city got creative with that area, we built a park. We tore down houses and we built a park.
And then it's not really a park. I mean, the last flood, all the swings are gone. It would be great to have, I did notice some trash cans are there, but just the walking trail that's there, love it, but it would be nice to maybe have some solar lights, you know, that you can see when you're walking, as it does get dark at 6 now. And just to have swings for the kids, my grandkids, it's like there's really nothing there to truly entertain them. And it would be nice to have it built up that way again, because
Yeah,
it
there's-
seems like it's a wasted opportunity.
As Mr. Malone mentioned that this was a topic at last year's meeting, and that and you didn't see any follow-up on this meeting is because of the Glenview corridor study that we're going to do. We're going to incorporate the enhancements to that park within that study. But yeah, there's a lot of friends of Creek Trail Park on this council. They want to see some good things, some exciting things happen there.
It's a park that
I'm
a lot
not-
of people want to think is in their schools. So it's something, it's our priority to make sure it's a nice park. Definitely.
I may have misunderstood what she said, but you can get FEMA flood insurance if you are not in the flood zone, because we have it.
Oh, give me some information from my neighbor then, since she.
And I have a question. How is the city going to make up for the shortfall in house insurance, since insurance premiums are going down? Our taxes, property taxes, sorry. Property taxes have been decreased, sliced. How's the city going to make up that shortfall?
Well, the tax rates have been decreased, but the revenue, the revenue is actually increased to the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is
As-
no, go ahead.
As property values have increased, the city's been able to lower the tax rate because the valuations on those properties are allowing us to bring in that same amount of money. Plus, we've seen considerable growth in our sales tax collections, and so that really has, right now, outpaced our ad valorem property tax collections and adds much more to the city's revenue sources.
My name is David White. I live beside the flood line, which we've had many, many discussions over. I have paperwork from the city for 63 years stating that the culvert's too small, different things, and in 63 years, nothing's been done.
Hold the mic up to your mouth. Just hold it up to you.
Just put it up close to your.
There you go.
Hello. Anyway, I've got paperwork saying from the city that these reports from the engineers and everything, which the last 3 or 4 of them's been the same engineer, and everything that they need the erosion taken care of, and that they need 2 8-foot culverts put in there, which would be 16 foot. I live there. You got 2 issues with the flood line right there. If they would replace the culverts, now the culverts have to do with the street, because it's part of the streets, and then the erosion, it would allow that water to go through there and not build up and flood like 7 houses that flood when it floods. A year and a half ago, twice it flooded, and it flooded my house, cost me about $10,000–12,000 to fix everything on it. And, you know, I don't have flood insurance because I paid cash for my house. And if you don't have it on your mortgage, then like you were saying, they want $5,000 to $6,000 a year for flood insurance. That's down there people's mortgage payments on there. And then also I have another question, is I told this council 6 or 7 months ago, the flood line that they fixed with the little concrete bags and everything on the other side of the fence, they didn't finish it because on my side of the flood line, I talked to the former whatever he was, Yeah, what are you?
City manager.
City manager, yeah, the city manager, forgot his name.
Eric?
Eric Strong, that's what it was. But he came out because they put them sidewalks in there, and there was a little kid fell on a bicycle, and I called him up, and it took him about 30 minutes to come out and look at it. And by the end of the day, he had Public Works go over there and drill and put a guardrail and fence there where nobody could fall down in there, because it's about a 12, 14-foot drop. The other side, it's just dirt. I set it out there on Halloween, and I told the kids, watch out, you know, they're all trick or treat, they want candy, whatever, they run from one house to the other. They don't even look and see if that creek's there until they fall into it or something. And I would hate for the city to get sued for not finishing their job and not knowing about it. I've mentioned this twice, and I was told by you and a couple other council people that y'all were gonna look into it. And that was 6 or 7 months ago, and nothing's been done. I've got people that can do that thing for $6,500, put 20 foot on both sides and a fence on the front of it where nobody, they gotta go around it, they don't even fall. But here it is, Halloween's passed and nothing's been done. I don't understand, y'all say you're gonna look into it, but I'd like to know what kind of price y'all figured when you looked into it to do that, or did you look into it?
I don't know, did we get any estimates on that?
I believe our previous public works director did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Previously,
We'll have-
when was what?
Our previous public works director did, and we'll have to go back and pull that information.
The railing that was installed because of the sidewalk that was there. The sidewalk that crosses that culvert. Yeah, that's where the railing is the.
But across the street,
yeah.
there is none.
Yeah, there's no sidewalk on the other
If
side.
you drive through the city, there is a guardrail on every single little creek that goes by, except for the one by my house. And I've also mentioned it would help, because this is a city, y'all should have a little bit of power to get Encore to go in there and put a city light right there. There's no light, there's no nothing, it's pitch dark. These kids can't see. If they had a light there, at least they would see the hole, and then maybe they would be smart enough not to run into it.
Okay, thank you.
And my last question, when was this thing built?
It opened.
How many years ago?
17?
April 2017.
Sorry about the late.
April 17?
So that's, what,
6
6
years
years ago?
ago. 6 years ago.
Why are we replacing the floor in the gym on a building that's brand spanking new?
Well, it's a sports floor, so the play of the floor has to be a certain level. And there's some defects that are developing along portions of it that are not going to be able to be repaired and maintain the play of the floor.
Well, y'all told me at the meeting we had at the beginning of the year that y'all were gonna try to get in the budget to fix that flood line. There's two issues, it's not just the erosion and everything, but it's the culverts. And if y'all fix the culverts, like it says in each report I got, it goes back as far as 63 years ago. If you replace that culvert, and he come up and your engineers said that was about $400,000 to replace that culvert, not $30 million. And if they fix that culvert, 90% of the issue would be gone.
All right, thank you.
I know we're all talking about, the drainage and the parks and all that costs money. And so what I'm hearing is all these things that we would like. But what I think about is this Glenview project. We've got people at City Point, like thousands of people at City Point, and they're gonna spend money. And so, they can walk down Grapevine Highway to businesses, to restaurants, to,
Are we related?
So I'm excited about that because it's going to bring in revenue and we can do all these awesome things And so, so I'm hoping that we can really get involved and have a say in some suggestions on businesses and like really up our game for Glenview and for Grapevine Highway, because that's what's gonna bring in the revenue to make these changes. So anyhow,
That's what we want to see.
yeah, and so
Yes.
when is this, Glenview, like when are these meetings for the Glenview project? Like, when are those gonna happen?
So there was a corridor stakeholder meeting that was held over the summer. And there's been some internal meetings with staff and the elected officials in the school district in North Richland Hills. The consultant is working on developing some draft concepts based on feedback, and he's anticipating to present those at the December 18th council meeting. And then we'll see, that'll be a public meeting for citizen input as well. And then from there, he'll go in and refine those plans for council adoption in January.
Okay, just
And
one second.
myself and Mayor Trevino have had conversations about cooperating with the branding of the city, the Glenview corridor as well.
Make it a destination.
Mhm.
I just wanted to take a minute to compliment y'all. I've lived here for a long time. I sold real estate out here for 35 years. Been up, down, every street and whatever. But I have to tell y'all, with what we've gone through here in Richland Hills, y'all are angels. And you look us in the eye, you answer our questions, and if you can't, you get us an answer. And we just want y'all to know, we really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.
Have something else?
I tell you, we have got one of the best staffs right now in this city. I've lived here since 1969, and we've got one of the best staff working in this city right now than I have ever worked with or ever seen in this city.
And we appreciate it.
And they got the citizenries at heart. They want to work for you.
But you know, it was always before, it wasn't any of our business. Back in the early days, I don't know if you remember the little cliques and whatever.
Oh,
No.
certainly do. I remember a lot of those times.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing about the city though is that we have so much opportunity for growth. And I think you guys are definitely headed in the right direction. So I can't wait to see what it'll be like in the next 5-10 years.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Like Ms. Sullivan said, I think this Glenview project is really going to be a key project in this city, this development, because North Richland Hills and Richland Hills is bringing a lot of rooftops into this city, which creates some problems for these guys over here, because they've got to come up with better ways of doing things with what they've got. But they do that real well, and I am just really tickled.
But we feel like everybody cares. And we
Yes.
didn't have that for a long, long time. You know that.
This council really does care, and this council really does stick together about doing things and bringing things about. And we've got good leadership.
And we don't, one of the things that is really important about this council is we work for you.
That's exactly right.
And that is something never lost on us, right? We do everything, every decision we make is what is best for our city, best for the residents, not for a resident, but for the whole city. And as you know, making decisions that to satisfy everybody is a challenge. And we appreciate the feedback that we get from every one of you, knowing that we have to take all that in and make decisions. We just appreciate the support you guys give us. And I've worked in and volunteered in lots of organizations. And this council and the city staff are one of the most well-oiled machines, right? Everybody is rowing the same boat in the same direction all the time. And I can't tell you, it is such a huge benefit to have the teamwork and camaraderie between the council, the city staff, the police department, fire department, public works. Everybody is always working for the best of the city. And so It's not like that in every city. So we're just happy to serve you guys for sure.
We don't always agree, but we always come to an agreement. That's
But this is our
that
role,
is the
all of us, so it affects all of us. And I feel like that we've become a team, when that was never here for a long, long time.
I got one more question. You gonna say something nice? It's my understanding that the council is the ones that's responsible for putting on the ballot to be voted on for like, a bond for the streets, a bond for the, drainage and everything. Are y'all intending on putting a bond on for the citizens to vote on, to get bonds passed so that we can do some of this work that's, I mean, there's 7 people that I know of, plus down in the south side, there was a lot more houses flooded, but there's 7 of us right here that completely flooded. I've got pictures of it. I think I've showed the city manager the pictures. If not, I've got 400 pictures of when it did that, and everything. I showed the engineers and stuff. But to get the money to take care of some of these projects and protect at least probably 20 houses in the city that got flooded, these last 2 times it's flooded, then I think we need to get a bond together for the streets and a bond for the drainage, because they're 2 different issues. And one to
Yeah.
get the culvert replaced.
Yeah, we currently sold a bond, well, without voter approval for the streets. And there's no proposal now to go to the voters for a drainage bond. And it's it's expensive, and the bond is paid for through ad valorem tax. That's just where it would be a tax increase.
So at the beginning of the year, when we had that conversation before, and with the attorneys, well, not the attorneys, but the engineers, and they were giving a report of what they got to do and everything, y'all said that it was your intent to try to get money into that drainage fund in order to get this work done. So now y'all are not intending on doing that.
I don't recall the conversation that you said that we intended to get money for this. Our intent is to properly design a system that's going to alleviate as much drainage as possible and implement that with the funds that are available to us.
Yes, we were
Yeah.
specifically talking about the spot where it floods up and down in between me and these other people's houses here, and that was the report that they did, was specifically on that, and it's online. You go back to the date and everything, I think y'all keep them online for what, 2 years?
They're archived forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all stated that y'all were gonna try to get money into the budget, because y'all were working on the budget, and y'all said that you're gonna end up and you're gonna be doing something else on the budget at least one more time before people vote on it. And at that time, you said that y'all were, trying to put something in there so that you can get the funds to take care of some of this stuff, even if it's through this little section that he said, the engineer said it was 20 million or 22 million, to do this. I know it's more than that. But, he turned around and maybe chopped it up in like 3 pages to do the culvert. I mean, to do the culvert, I would bet money that the rest of the farms are pretty well gonna take care of themselves at least for another 15, 20 years. And, I'm just about ready to go over there and put on my side where it's a road, fixing it myself. Instead of the whole thing, just fixing my part of it.
Okay, so I just got one question out there is about the bond proposal. I do not, there is no bond proposal, and I don't remember there ever being a discussion about that, you know.
But we talked about you would have to get a bond proposal in order to pay it.
Oh, yes,
Have the revenues, right?
yeah, to have the revenues to further our drainage issues that are not already being addressed within our projects, it would take much more money and another bond and another tax increase.
Yeah, apparently you didn't understand my question. My question was, are y'all, since y'all have to put the bonds up and everything to be voted on, by the citizens and everything, the next election coming up, and y'all know about this since the beginning of the year, are y'all planning on putting a bond on there and letting the residents vote on it?
There is no proposal.
You know, I think when we get into all of that, we'd have to have an education, because most of us don't understand how that even works. And, you know, we ought to have something along those lines in the future that we need to learn about these things.
Well, I hope our presentations were clear. Yeah, I get lost in some of the questions as well, but I think.
Well, I have another question.
I think that we presented everything in a very clear way, and I hope you understood those, yeah.
I don't really have a question, I have more of a statement. I can't say enough about our fire department and our police department. They are wonderful. And just for those that don't know, there are programs for the civilians. There's the Civilian Police Academy and Civilian Fire Academy. The police academies in the fall, fire academies in the spring. So please let your neighbors and everyone in Richland Hills know about this, and please have them sign up. It's really a good opportunity to see what our departments go through and what they have to deal with on a daily basis.
We've come a long way.
And to echo, if I may, Ms. Campbell and Councilmember Knowlton, and then I'll get your question. I do want to take a moment, because I meant to do it during my introduction, to introduce our staff, because it is my privilege to work with these individuals who work harder and care more about this community than many people do. And so I'm very proud to work with them. They represent this organization and this council very well. And so I just want to introduce them real quick, if I may. We have our Parks and Rec Director, Jason Brown, our Finance Director, Lupe Rios, Captain Scott Russell in the police department, our library director, Chantel Hancock, our police chief, Kimberly Sylvester, our fire chief, Russell Shelley, our new director of public works and capital projects, Kip Dernovich. We have our PIO and support services manager, Sheena McAkron, videoing Facebook Live. We have our communications specialist, Samantha Hall. We have our city secretary over here, Lindsay Rollinson, and my assistant, Jennifer Hilburn, has been passing around the microphone. So I would just like to give them a round of applause for a minute. They're the ones that are working day to day along with their teams to make your priorities, your goals, your desires come true. So, you know, it's their effort and their work that you see in all that gets accomplished. Now, Toby has the microphone.
So the water meters are going.
That was directed at you, Mr.
I wanted to compliment Doug. Doug, I agree with what you were saying earlier about the roads are going to take a little longer because we are doing everything underneath. The one comment I was going to make, are we getting with Atmos to see if Atmos wants to replace the gas lines at the same time so that all the construction's being done in one fair movement?
The very first, Encore and Atmos both receive our design plans for these street improvement projects as soon as they're close to finalized. Especially Atmos, because a lot of times they do need to consider if they need to replace lines or in some cases relocate them, and their review process is quite lengthy. Unfortunately, we've had some delays on projects waiting for Atmos to move their lines, but yes, we do coordinate with both partners, as well as some of the other utility partners, AT&T and some of those telecom ones, to let them know when we're going to be doing infrastructure work.
Cool, thank you. The other thing I wanted to make a comment about is we are in a small city. I think we said 3.3 square miles. So when we talk about flood, one thing we all got to remember is stuff flows downhill. So we could be taking on a lot of water from a lot of other places that we don't know that's coming, that we ended up having to take responsibility of it because unfortunately we're at the bottom of the trail. So as much as I commend you guys for trying to do what we got to do with what we have, typically we don't understand what everybody else is handing over to it, so we unfortunately had to deal with it, so.
I'm gonna expand on what Toby said about the gas lines. So you turn the plans over to these companies, they don't come out and check until you're ready to start construction. You start construction, then the street's sitting there for 6 months to however long, because they only move half the gas line or the whole gas line, but all the residents are put out. So if you don't go out there and pothole these utilities beforehand, they're not gonna get out and move them until the contractor breaks ground. Then it's too late and you've just made everybody mad. So please, get somebody to do that before you start the projects.
I'm just kidding, I don't have any more.
You sure? Anybody else?
Chad is the name of the cow.
Okay, I think that's, we exhausted the questions. So thank you all for coming. Now I'm gonna give you an insider tip. In 2025, there's gonna be a citizen survey. And that citizen survey was what was the genesis for just about everything in our presentation today. Everything that we've been focusing on all this year came from that citizen survey. So it's critical that you get the word out, get everyone to fill out that survey in good fashion, because that's what drives us. That's what drives us is the input from the citizens of what you want to see in your city, and that's where it flows. That's where it starts. Thank you all for coming.